welcome back to the 13th Destiny with Magnum podcast. And of course, Danielle Long, my co-host, is standing by out there in San Diego. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, everyone.
All right, and then I'm going to be bringing on a guest here after I do the weekly shout-outs. So we have a guest show today, and it's going to be exciting. I'll give you a little background right after the shout-outs, and then we'll bring him in. All right, so just wanted to say our usual shout-out thank you to the Holiday Inn University Plaza Hotel at 1021 Wilkerson Trace here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. As you know, I've been doing business with them for over 20 years. They are the official hotel of the podcast, and of course my other businesses and stuff. So anyway, I did that for them this week. Be sure to check them out. They're very family-oriented, place to make you feel like you're at home. And of course, also our friends down at Oak Grove Racing and Gaming, down there at Oak Grove, Kentucky, right near Fort Campbell, Kentucky, home of the 101st Airborne of the United States Army. Check them out, and of course, they're very close to Clarksville, Tennessee as well. That's all kind of in together. A special shout out this week to Riley over at Subway in Glasgow, Kentucky. I was going to tell her yesterday that I was going to do a shout out to her. But I tell you, I've been to a lot of Subways, and of course, I still do DoorDash and stuff. Everybody listens to this podcast knows that I'm going to do that as well. But I'm going to tell you, I have never had a Subway sandwich made as well as this girl did. And I think part of it was the whole engagement with her customer service skills. I believe she's in her late teens, but she was just absolutely wonderful. If you get a chance to go to the one down on the square over in Glasgow, Kentucky, check it out. And she's, like I said, she's a very engaging young lady. So go over and check that out. So anyway, those are my shout outs for the week. And now, we're going to have a very special guest on today, and he's got a connection here to Bowling Green, Kentucky, and we'll talk about that as well. He's an author, paranormal investigator, and medium. He was inspired ghost tracking in Maryland. He's become known as the pet medium. Although he's communicated with pets and people who have passed since he was a child, he could receive messages from ghosts or spirits who have crossed over. And welcome, Rob Gutro. How are you doing, Rob?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Nice to talk to you both.
Danielle, you still with us?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought for a minute I'd lost her, Rob. It's okay. It happens sometimes. Anyway, I know that you're, all that stuff I said, and you're also an award-winning author. You're also a best-selling author. Tell me and the audience kind of how this all got started. I know you've got some special abilities that you learned about early on.
Yeah, tell us about what back, like as a child, kind of like a bio sort of.
Sure. Well, basically, everything started when I was 13 years old, and after I went to my grandfather's wake, 7 months later, he appeared to me in full color, and he scared the daylights out of me. So I had a great relationship with my parents, and I talked to my parents about it. When they got home, I actually, when I saw him, I actually ran out of the house. Nobody else was home. And my mother confirmed that the ability runs in her side of the family. So I shelved it for a long time until 2005 when I had a puppy who passed away. And he reawakened my abilities, and he taught me how pets communicate from the other side. And long story short, I used that as the basis for my first book, and my dad died before I was finishing the book. So it was all about earthbound ghosts, spirits who crossed over, the difference between the two, and pets, and then I joined the paranormal team.
That's awesome.
Awesome. So you do paranormal investigations also?
Yes. Yeah, I've done quite a few of them.
Nice. Tell me about the time I read that your dog solved the case.
Yes. Normally, I don't bring pets to a particular paranormal case because you never know how an earthbound ghost is going to react. But we were called into a particular home where the parents thought that there was the spirit of their dog who had crossed over and has come back to visit. And so we brought one of my dogs, who's a Weimaraner, and she She basically confirmed that it was the dog because she dragged me to the correct house without me knowing the correct address. Then she followed the path that the dog used to take. When the dog would come in from the outdoors, run up to the youngest son's bedroom and sit there. So she actually did the same thing that their dog in life used to do. So that's how we knew that she was following that dog in spirit.
Wow.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Now, what is it? Like, I'm so interested in this pet thing. I had a dog for 19 years. And when she passed, it was really, really hard on me. Her name was Princess. Now, I have never experienced, and I don't hear of it too often, that people actually see a dog ghost or a cat ghost. Or how often does that happen? Now, there's a difference between ghost and spirit, right? So the ghosts are here where we might be able to see them, and the spirit is already passed over?
Yes, so there is a difference between ghosts and spirits, and there's a similarity. And so in my day job, by the way, I'm a scientist.
Oh, nice.
I'm a meteorologist.
Oh,
So
you're a meteorologist. Awesome.
Yes. So I use the science of energy to explain how the paranormal works. And in order to understand how it works, what I've learned is that the physical energies that are within us, coupled with our memories, our knowledge of this life, and the personality that we have. And then when we die, we have kind of a quick life review and we make a choice. That choice involves either staying here, earthbound, which I don't recommend, and that's what I call a ghost. So ghosts, I have found, choose to stay behind because they may fear crossing over. They may fear what's on the other side. If they're very religious, I found that a lot of people who are very religious are more afraid of the slightest infraction that they've done in life because they think they're going to a bad place, but they're not. So ghosts stay in a place they know. It's either where they died, like a hospital or prison or home or a battlefield, or they just choose to stay at a certain place. They can only communicate with the living if somebody comes to that place. Spirits, which are most people, we cross over into the light the other side. And that means the difference is that spirits can go anywhere, anytime, any place. Ghosts are only stuck communicating in the physical location they chose. And 99.5% of our pets cross over. So you don't have to worry. Your pet has crossed over.
Nice.
So is that why we don't really see pet ghosts, right? It's because pets usually pass over.
Pets usually cross over, but they can come back in spirit and visit. They can come back as a spirit. So when my dog passed in 2005, Buzz, a couple months later, when I was home one night making lunch for the next day, I saw him walk by me. Well, I saw the backside of him walk by me, and I thought it was my newly adopted dog, Dolly. So I followed the dog into down a corridor into my living room. I lived in a small townhouse, and there was no way out of the living room except up and down that hallway. I turned on the light, and there was no dog there. So I knew it was my dog Buzz that had passed that I was following, because I ran upstairs and there was my new dog curled up asleep on the top of my bed.
Wow.
Wow. Interesting. Like, do the animals, do they have a soul?
Oh gosh, yeah.
What's the difference between spirit and soul?
And that's the one question that makes me crazy, actually. So yes, so a soul is the energy within us with memories, personality, and knowledge. So every living thing has a soul. So I've heard from people of different faiths that have said, "Oh, animals don't have souls." Well, that's ridiculous. When you think of it, animals ruled the earth long before people showed up and made a mess out of it. So, you know, they know how to find food, they know how to find shelter, they know how to protect each other, they know how to take care of each other if they're sick, and so forth. So, animals, every living thing has a soul. Even
what about like the trees?
Sure. So trees have they have soul energy. It's not like trees have personality, but they have soul energy. They have life energy, if you will.
Okay, so what about, let's say, like my goldfish? It really doesn't communicate. Let's just say I had a goldfish and it passed over. But does it communicate like dogs and cats?
It does not, because it was only so. Animals and including goldfish can only communicate based on their environment and what they can see or pick up or what they did in life. So because fish were in a controlled environment, you know, you may not, once that goldfish dies, one of the only ways that goldfish would be able to communicate with you is if you happen to see the goldfish swimming in your tank, and you know that goldfish had died before. You see a quick image of it. So, and pets will do things that they did in life. So you may see your dog laying in the sun as a quick either shadow or an actual image. You may hear a bark that will sound like it's coming from another room, or meow. You may hear a collar jingle or nails on the floor. Those are ways that pets communicate from the other side.
Wow, I've had a lot of pets. I love animals in my life, and I've had horses and dogs. And I have 4 dogs now, and cats and birds, and I have not once felt like any of them communicated with me. What's going on there?
So it could be a question of awareness. If you still have quite a number of them, sounds like you have a big menagerie. You may be too distracted in taking care of the living in order to recognize the signs. But some of the ways that pets will communicate with us will be that you may notice is if one pet passes over and then you adopt a new pet, and that new pet takes on a habit that the pet who passed away used to do. So some people will think it's reincarnation, but it's not, because our pets wait for us on the other side. Instead, they come and teach the new pet to do something that they used to do.
Oh, I have a weird question. I've wondered, is there ever a person that reincarnates into an animal, like your dog? Or your cat, or whatever?
Yeah, a good question. I've never experienced that. It's my understanding that people stay in the human kingdom, animals stay in the animal kingdom, plants stay in the plant kingdom, et cetera, et cetera. And somebody asked me that, and I said to them, if you ever look over at your coworker and see them licking their hand like a cat, then maybe you'll know they came back.
That's pretty funny. I like that.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it was just so that, there isn't any kind of crossing over. You don't feel like you don't feel like a human's been a rock before, or spirit, or a tree, or a dog, or anything like that.
So not in my experience, no.
Oh, that's a good question.
So I can only speak to my experience. You know, I certainly don't know all the answers. I don't think anybody does, but
right.
I share what I have, what I know.
Wow. So if I was I would like to know more about how I could pick up on the signs if any of my animals are communicating with me. I know you kind of mentioned some things, but like what do I listen for every day?
That's a good question. So that's actually why I wrote my series of books called Pets in the Afterlife. And in those books, they will teach you and show you all the different ways that dogs, cats, horses, birds, rabbits, gerbils, any domesticated pet can communicate. So that's why I wrote the books. It really, because it really is, it's a traumatic thing. You mentioned that in the beginning. And the reason it's a traumatic thing is that we raise our pets to be just like we raise human children. I mean, when you think of it, we take them to the doctor. We tell them when it's time to eat. We take care of. We help them with socialization with other kids or other children. We teach them words. We teach them concepts. We teach them obedience. We teach them routine. All kinds of things. And we do the same thing with pets. Really, more so with dogs than cats. And we know that the dogs and cats only live to be about 15 years old on average. But it doesn't make it any less traumatic when your fur kid dies, when your fur child dies. It makes it more traumatic because as humans, we never want our children to pass before us. And that's really what happens here. So that's why it's really hard when people lose pets.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it's a very hard thing. And I remember I lost Princess. She was 19 years old, and I broke out in a weird rash. I was that upset.
Yeah,
So it has happened.
And it does take a physical toll on you. I mean, grief is crippling, and that's the other thing too, Danielle, is that grief is actually something that blocks messages from spirits. So sometimes a pet, once they pass, will go to somebody you know, like a spouse or a partner or a relative or a neighbor, and give them a sign. So for instance, your neighbor or a spouse could have had a dream of your pet, usually in a peaceful setting, and that person will tell you. And that's what happens. That's what they do. They go to somebody they know will give you the message that they're okay on the other side. So you may see another pet that looks like them. That's another thing. They will lead you to another pet that looks like them so that you'll be reminded that they are still around.
Yeah, interesting. I got 2 other pets that look like 2 other pets that I have.
There you go.
I had 2 dogs. Yeah, I did. I did. So yeah, that happens. I just really love animals a lot, and I just find it all very interesting that you can talk to their spirit. Do you actually directly talk to their spirit?
I do. I can. And when I do readings, I'm not taking readings right now because I'm booked out way past a year and a half. But all I need is a picture and their name, and then any questions, if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, the pets will tell me all kinds of things, like their house, their favorite place to be, or how they passed away, all kinds of things. And it's amazing what they can share. And they also sometimes get help from people in spirit to convey messages. So I can tell you about a cat that one of thousands of cats that gave me a special message that only his mom knew.
Okay.
So in my Pets in the Afterlife 4 book, this is a book about cats, messages from cats. This cat named Buddy had passed away, and his mom, named Ingrid, had written me to do a reading for her. And so I did, and I gave her a whole bunch of things that Buddy had said. And Buddy conveyed a word to me that I've never heard of before, and the word was MALA. Now, he showed me the word. They don't actually speak to me audibly. They will send me pictures in my mind about what they're trying to convey. And he had help with this from a human spirit. So I wrote the word down, and I didn't know what it meant. And I sent it to her in her reading, and she wrote me back, and she said, all the things that Buddy conveyed were understandable, but this word stood out because there's only two living beings that know what that word means to me, myself and Buddy. She said every morning when she wakes up, she opens her bedroom door. She invites Buddy in to her bedroom, and they sit and they do a meditation called the Mala meditation.
Oh, wow.
Nobody else knows it. Yeah. So it's crazy.
That is cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I was wondering if they speak English or what to you. So they don't speak. It's more telepathy, more like mental pictures that come to you.
Yes, and words. So
and words,
so
but they don't speak.
But they
Do they speak over there?
They can convey that to a medium. So they know words. Think of training your dog. Stop, sit, stay, come. Dinner time, squirrel, toys. So cats are the same. They know words. They know all those words. Plus, I'm sure that Ingrid in her life with Buddy said, "Buddy, come on in. It's time to do the Mala meditation." So, because whatever words they hear and they learn, they can convey. And I read a scientific journal that said that border collies have been known to understand up to 1,000 words. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, have you seen? I've seen some such awesome stuff, videos where they're getting these pads now where the dog steps on the button and it's a yes, a no, and they make up a sentence, and they really are talking.
Yes.
It's like, wow, they really are.
Mm-hmm.
So we've underestimated our pets, the intelligence of our pets, for a long time.
Right. Because if there's this one dog, I think it's on TikTok, I don't know, but it just steps on all the things, asks questions, and where things are, and where people, and about the day, and I'm just like, whoa. And there was a cat that saw itself in the mirror and said it was sad. That I forgot, but it was almost like it was a self-aware, because when dogs usually look in a mirror, or cats or something, they think it's another animal and they're not aware. But I think some are. I think some are more intelligent than others, right? Do you think?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
They can understand things.
So, border collies, German shepherds, poodles, those are in the top 3, I believe, in terms of intelligence. And so I've read many books by Dr. Stanley Korn, who wrote some really great books analyzing the intelligence of dogs. He used dogs as a baseline because he's a dog dad. But if you look up his books, the intelligence of dogs and how dogs think, you'll be surprised at how much they take in.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Wow. That's awesome.
Nobody heard those beeps while we were on, correct? Yeah. Sorry, guys. I had to interrupt. I had to interrupt for just a minute, make sure you guys didn't hear those beeps that were trying to come through for some strange reason. I try to make sure people don't call me during the podcast, but I think one didn't know they weren't supposed to call me during the podcast. It's okay. Anyway, so let me ask a question here real quick. Let me jump in here also since that happened. Let me jump in. I'm interested in something that's connected here to Bowling Green that you had talked about.
Okay.
So you lived in a haunted house. I believe you said, was it on 11th Street? Is that correct?
I believe it was, yes.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about that, since I got a lot of people in the Bowling Green area that actually listen to the show.
Sure. So when I went to Western Kentucky University,
Mm-hmm.
and I was renting a room in this one particular house, and the other guy that was in the house, his parents had owned the house, and so he was looking for a roommate. His roommate had moved out, and when I applied, I got the okay for it. Long story short, after I moved in, he wasn't there for the first couple of weeks because it was still in the summer.
Right.
It was before the semester. So at 2:30 in the morning on a Tuesday night, there was a pounding on the back door of this house. And the back door was connected directly to the kitchen. It was a very small house. So, I thought it was a college kid being drunk or whatever.
I get that.
Being new to the town, I didn't know. So I got up and I remember, it jars you when something wakes you up like that in the middle of the night.
Right.
And I went into the kitchen, turned on the light, and it stopped. But the pounding, it was like a fist on the back door of this kitchen. And I thought, okay. So I got up enough nerve to look outside, and there was nobody there. What I realized is that the back of that house had a motion-activated spotlight that never went off. And I thought, that was weird. So the next week, 2:30 in the morning, Tuesday, pounding on the back door. It scared the daylights out of me. I didn't know what was going on. I went again, opened the kitchen light, turned the kitchen light on, and it stopped. And again, no light in the backyard. But when I went out there at night, the light would light up. So it didn't make any sense. When the guy moved in, I asked him about a ghost. This was before my abilities really came out. This was years before, like eight years before. So he said, yeah, that's the reason why the other guy had moved out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
just a typical day in Bowling Green, Kentucky, pounding on the door, though, right? I mean,
I guess so. I don't know. So the scariest part of all this, James, was that I was home one night and I was studying for a test, and I had gone into the kitchen and I had put some soup on the burner, and then I went back into the little living room where the table was, and I went back into the kitchen within like 3 minutes, and all of the cabinets were wide open.
Yeah.
There was nobody else in the house.
Oh, I get this story. I can feel this one has some weird thing happening earlier in my life. But yeah, I get that one. Wow, that's wild. I like it.
Yeah, so that told me the ghost wasn't outside.
Yeah.
It was inside.
Wow. Danielle brought up something, and because she said she couldn't do the communications. I'm going to ask this question, and you or Danielle, either one, can talk back and forth about this if you want. Are there any things that cause blocking? Like, is there blocking abilities or something? Is it natural, or is there something more to that?
Yeah, so I mentioned that grief will be the big blocking of messages from spirits. And the ability does run in families, but anybody has the ability to get messages from ghosts and spirits. Really. I want you to think of it this way. If you walk into a crowded room of people and you don't know anybody, but you feel like you want to say hello to somebody, and conversely, you stay on the other side of the room from other people. It's because you're reading their emotional energy. And that's what mediums do. But we do that with people who passed.
Cool. All right.
So it's really about trusting your feelings.
Trusting your feelings. I got you. So then a lot of times it's blocking out of something that is not necessarily natural. Just part of it is, but not all of it. I'm kind of getting that now. Danielle, what else would you like to ask? I know you probably got some more questions because it looked like you did some pretty good research on our guest today, so that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Pretty interesting stuff. You also have another book out, and that is on your travels to Ireland.
Yes. So actually, I have 11 books out. I have 3 series. One is The Pets in the Afterlife. The other one is about ghosts versus spirits, which includes paranormal investigations and then messages from loved ones who've crossed over. And the other one is Ghosts on a Medium's Vacation. So whenever I go on vacation...
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Then people like to...
Tell me about that. Tell me about that, and did you encounter anything like scary? Oh, did a ghost pass through you or something?
There was that. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. Tell me.
That happened a couple of times. So I've written three books based on vacations. One in Ireland, which is the newest one in England, and one at Tombstone, Arizona.
Oh, Tombstone.
So when I was outside of the Birdcage Theater and I was walking by an old saloon, now a restaurant, I felt somebody walk right through me. And when that happens, a ghost, and it was a ghost, he was earthbound. When that happens, they will absorb a lot of your body heat because they need energy in order to get strong enough to communicate. So I got ice cold and I got weak and I actually stumbled on the sidewalk in Tombstone.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Did you feel it?
I did.
Did you feel it? Like, physically, like, feel it go through you?
Yes.
Oh.
And did it scare you? Did you know what it was at the time? Or did you, all of a sudden you're sick and you're like, oh, I felt something. What is this?
Yeah, as soon as he started to absorb the energy of my body, I knew who it was. I knew it was happening.
Oh.
And I couldn't get out of it. Yeah. When I was in...
wow. Yeah.
It also happened when I was in England. I went to Hampton Court Palace, which was a palace that was owned by Henry VIII. And his fourth wife, Catherine Howard, was told in this part of the palace that she was going to be beheaded because she was unfaithful to the king, and he wasn't there. He had somebody do his dirty work for him. So she ran screaming down this particular hallway outside the Great Watching Chamber area, and she's been seen by a lot of people that visit and heard running and screaming down this corridor. And I knew nothing about this when I visited. So when I stepped into the corridor from this other room, this called the Great Watching Chamber, where they used to go to wait for the king, I suddenly heard somebody screaming. I heard a woman screaming. And I looked down the corridor, and I thought, oh, maybe somebody got hurt or something. And this young woman, ran right through me. And she did the same thing. She took all my body heat. And it was quite scary. And I turned to watch to see what happened, and I saw her disappear. And she's been known to do that.
So that's a very draining experience I'm getting, right?
It is. So one of the things that I discuss as a scientist, one of the things I discuss in my books is how ghosts and spirits get enough energy to get strong enough to communicate. And there's a similarity, but there's a difference. So the similarity is that they both use physical energies to draw from. And that is heat, like body heat, light, water, and electricity. As you know, they can play with electricity.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I've experienced that. Yeah. Wow.
You have?
Yes, I have.
So tell me what you experienced.
Basically a light coming on that basically wasn't supposed to come on at all, and it came on, and it was after my dad's passing, and I'm like, yeah, that's not normal. That's some kind of and the other thing that happened at around the same time was that which is really weird is the cell phone that was my sister had the dad's cell phone, and apparently it had a call into it as well around the same time this light was up, which was really weird. And I had that experience with that. So I've always said it's some kind of connection to that. I mean, I don't know personally. That's just my experience. What do you think?
So, not surprising.
Not surprising. Okay,
Yeah,
there we
no,
go.
not
So there's
surprising.
the answer. Not surprising. Okay, awesome. It's kind of what I was looking for, but I wasn't 100% sure I was going to get that answer.
Yes. Yeah. So when my dad passed, he used to play with the light in the hallway to my mother's house.
Okay. So that makes sense.
Yeah, and also I did a lecture about how spirits communicate
Okay.
with some people who lost their human children, and they often reported that their cell phone would light up from the number of their deceased human child.
Mm-hmm.
After the child passed.
I definitely believe that now. Yeah.
They would answer it, and there would be nothing but static.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they can use cell phones and anything electronic.
Which is amazing because I had an experience with that, and I was like, well, did I learn something new? Because I did not see some stuff coming, and I was like, okay, they can do some stuff that I did not think was possible. But yeah, let's put it this way. It definitely changed my point of view really quick when something happens like that. It opens your mind really quick. It's like, oh, well, there's no other explanation except that. Yeah.
And they do it to let us know that they're around, and not to scare us.
Right. Well, that's
because if they do scare us, they won't come back.
Oh, I don't think I was. No, my situation that happened with me and Miranda. I wasn't scared. I was more like, I think, fascinated than I was scared. I was like, well, okay, a little different today, kind of thing, So yeah, I wasn't scared. So that's probably the reason it happened more than once, because I wasn't really scared. I was more fascinated than scared. So yeah.
Yes.
So that answered a question too that I didn't even ask. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
You got anything else you want to ask him on the pet stuff, Danielle, before we do a quick asking of his a little bit of his paranormal investigation stuff?
What?
Oh,
no.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
okay.
I do have one more question.
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
It's just a little personal thing. I had a dog that his heart just all of a sudden went. We had to put him down pretty quickly. I was right there with him, and when he passed, I felt like it wasn't a good feeling. I felt like his spirit went through me or something, or went, and it was gross. It was like a smell. I don't know. I can't explain it, and I'm just wondering what happened. Can that happen? They just kind of go through you?
It's very rare that they do that, but it can happen. I mean, if ghosts can do it, spirits can do it too. So what that infers to me is that he just wanted to say that it wasn't intentional, but it was his way of letting you know that he's okay, and he was thanking you for bringing him there. As how we physically react, it's usually adverse. Like a ghost walked through me and I almost fell on the sidewalk. Because it saps our energy. So in that case, he was just trying to let you know that he's okay. And he didn't intend any harm. It was just the only way that he could do that immediately is to do it right then. Let you know he's okay.
Interesting. Yeah, I just feel like the feeling of it just was not a pleasant experience. Not so much as, it was sad. It was gross. It was like I was smelling this awful smell. It went right through me. It was not a good experience.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I didn't even know about that, Rob. So that's something I learned today on the show. We've known each other for years, talked about all kinds of stuff. That's something that I had no idea she'd experienced.
Just one animal, yeah.
Yeah. Very, very
yeah,
interesting.
some really, really cool.
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to ask you? So you're a paranormal investigator?
Yes.
And you go out, and do you do, like, have you ever encountered, what is this? Okay, so there's spirits or ghosts that are nicer, and there's some that seem to be really, really mean and want to possess someone or something. Why? What is the difference from why is one doing that and another one doesn't do anything, is like a jokester, and another one, is it that how they were in life? Is that,
Yes.
Is there something like, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is. Because we maintain our personalities after we pass away. So I always tell people that if you're nice in life, you're going to be nice in death. If you're a jerk in life, you're going to be a jerk in death. Especially if you're earthbound. Once you cross over, you lose that personality of being a jerk, because you're connected to the greater energy on the other side, and you understand what you did wrong and not to do it again. But ghosts aren't connected to that energy on the other side because they choose to stay here. So they can continue to be as bad as they were in life.
Wow. Yeah, some of them are pretty, and some of them, like, really want to scare people and really, really seem to want to do harm. Right? Have you experienced any of that out in the world you've been in?
Sure. Yeah, there've been a few. I did an investigation in Maryland in a place called Cocky's Tavern. It's a tavern from the early 1800s, I believe. And there were a lot of things going on in there. And when I came into this one particular room on the first floor, I felt there was a man. He was a ghost. He was earthbound. He chose to stay earthbound. And he had a really bad personality. He was a nasty guy. So he made me feel uneasy. And after the investigation, the manager of Inspired Ghost Tracking called me, and she said, I have an EVP, a recording, to play for you in that room where you confronted that male ghost. And she played it. And it audibly said, "Kill Rob." Yeah.
Whoa.
Ooh.
So you feel like you're in danger? No, why can some of them move things and try and get into people's body and possess somebody, and then some of them can't? Or maybe some don't want to? What is with all this stuff?
So it's all about how much energy they can harness. I have never experienced anyone trying to get into anyone's body. It won't, because it won't do them any good. But they will try and affect somebody in various other ways. So it depends on how much energy they have.
Oh, wow. So in other words, Danielle, like all that high energy that I have 99% of the time, they really after me probably. I don't know. But that makes sense though. The more energy that you have, that would be because they're trying to absorb part of that. Correct? Yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff. You still with me, everybody? Hello. 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 Shoot. I've lost everybody. Well, guys, this is the 13th Destiny with Magnum, and we seem to have a technical problem. I don't know if it's because of the people who's been trying to call in on me during the show. Let me see if I can get Rob back. Rob, are you still with us?
I'm back.
Okay, I don't know what happened. It's a long story, and I'm not going to go into it. Let me see if I can get Danielle back on the line as well. I told this person earlier, please do not call or have anyone call me during my podcast. And the people that she's having call me are repair people for a place that I'm associated with. And I'm going, why did you? Yeah, that's all it is. Hold on. Let me see if I can get Danielle back on the line as well, and we can finish out the show. Oh my goodness, this is going to be interesting for my show because this has never, ever happened. Somebody didn't want me talking to you today, Rob. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to say.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's wild. Let me see if I can get Danielle added back in here.
Well,
Hold on just a minute. Let me merge you back in. Danielle, I don't know what happened. Let me see if everybody can hear everybody. I think it's the people calling about the repairs.
Mike, the call dropped.
Oh, did it drop?
Yep. Yes.
Well, people keep calling me that I told a woman this morning. I'm just going to leave this in that I had to that I'm dealing with that other place that I have about repair work for that person, and I'm like, I told this particular person, please don't call during 2 to 3. Both the people, repair people, have called me during 2 to 3. I can't.
You think that's what caused it to drop?
It must be because I kept trying to deny them. So yeah. But anyway, we're gonna leave it in because this is gonna be good stuff. I'm loving the fact that it never happened before, and I go out of my way for this not to happen with our guest. But let's finish up with our guest real quick. And my apologies to the guest and also to the people who will listen to the podcast. This is just wild. I have never in all the years we've been doing this, I've never had that happen. Most people.
Is it recording right now?
I'm recording now, but because I never could stop. If I stopped it, we'd.
You didn't stop.
I didn't stop. I just tried to get everybody back. I just tried to get everybody back.
Oh my! You know what? I was talking about these evil ghosts and stuff. And my conversation, it drops off, and I'm like, oh man. Do you think it was some evil thing that just wanted to cut me off?
I hope not. I think it's probably my problem. Oh no, let's ask Rob. Rob, what do you think? You think it's probably just my technical problem, hopefully not the guy. Oh my goodness. What a fun
evil repairman.
Yeah, what a fun situation to happen that has never happened in all the I'm going on 4 years now and I've never had that happen. Oh my goodness! Well, it was different. I don't know. Hey, Rob, maybe your ghost friend over here in Bowling Green. Maybe they were like. Oh my goodness! Well, I'll tell you one thing. It definitely made a difference on my show today. I've never experienced that before. But anyway, real quick to get the rest of the show done, which is wild. This is wild. I know you say you're booked out on readings, so you're very popular on your readings. I get it from what I looked at, and also what you just said a little earlier on your show. So, how far out did you say you were booked?
Almost all the way to August 2025. So
wow,
I'm not taking readings anymore right now.
Okay, so wow, that's a pretty long book out. I gotta admit, I'd love to have my show booked out that long. It'd be awesome. Danielle would be very happy if I had my show booked out with guests and stuff till 2025. I would too. So, but yeah, so just to ask you something else real quick on that. So when did you start doing the readings in relation to all the stuff that you've done?
So gosh, I started doing them pretty much right after my first book.
Okay.
And I did them for free for 10 years.
Ooh, free.
And yeah, it was a lot. And because each reading takes an hour, and I've done thousands of readings. And so I charge a small fee still to make it affordable for everybody. But again, I'm not doing readings because everybody has the ability to see the signs themselves. Gotcha. All you can do is read the Pets in the Afterlife books, and you don't need a medium. You don't need me. You just use your senses, and that's pretty cool. You can see the signs yourself.
Yeah. I think that's the first time I've ever heard somebody that did the kind of stuff that actually said that you didn't necessarily have to have you. So that's interesting. But obviously you're an award-winning author and bestseller. So you and 11 books. That's a lot of books. I gotta
I'm gonna
admit.
have 7 more than you.
Woo! Wow. So you do a lot with the books. Okay, so yeah, okay, that makes even more sense. Okay. Danielle, do you have any last questions for Rob before we kind of let me finish up with the closeout and everything, and hopefully no other problems?
Yeah, let's see. What do you say to those naysayers out there that don't believe in it? And how do you deal with that?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me when you're dead.
Oh, that is the coolest answer I have ever had on the show. That I have got to admit, that took me back, Rob. I was like, I like that.
Well, you know, people are not gonna. They're not gonna believe in things until it happens.
Right. Oh, yeah. Shoot, man. Yeah. I mean, there's.
You know that. It's kind of sad because, you know, think of all the things that we go to school for and we learn, and people don't they don't pay attention to things if it doesn't affect them.
Yeah, right.
And
oh, yeah, absolutely. I've seen people.
That's the wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the wrong approach.
Right.
I mean, you have the ability to change everything in your life and others' lives for the better. And
right.
It's just being aware and open-minded.
Yeah. I think the whole word open-minded is the biggest thing. I've seen people deny things when there were stories told about things that you could go get documentation on. So yeah, so some people are just going to be that way no matter what. You know,
That's true.
Yeah, they're just not gonna believe whatever, you know, because they're like that. They have this. What I like to call that is, I'm in this little box in my little world, and I don't want to take anything and like learn this, or like, no, that can't be possible, or that's not true, or whatever. Yeah, that's yeah, and it's sad because I feel like a lot of people just don't have that ability to just explore the world more, you know, just don't have that, so they just want to stay in this one little thing. And yeah, that even bugs me on stuff that has nothing to do with this, so I totally get that. But yeah,
we should strive to learn something new every day.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree with that. Yeah, because like something you said during the show earlier, is like we don't know everything about everything, and nobody does. I don't. None of us do. But to learn something new every day, even if it's something really small, it's always a good thing, I think. So yeah, I agree with you.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this has been Rob Gutro. Now I messed it up.
How do people get a hold of him?
Yeah.
How do we get a hold of you? Like, people out there listening, if they want to go read your books, if they want to, do you have a website? What would okay.
Yes, I do. I have a lot of things going on. So you can find my 11 books on Amazon.com, and they're in paperback, ebook, and audiobook, if anybody wants to listen.
Ooh, audio, nice.
Yep. I'm self-published, and my goal is to make them affordable for everybody, so I set the price as low as I can, so every paperbacks are $9.99 or less. Audiobooks are much less than that. So, and Kindle are much less. So I want people to read these and learn. You know, my website is robgutro.com. If you can't remember how to spell my name, type in petspirits.com. It takes you to the same place.
Yeah, I'm gonna link everything I can to, by the way. Yeah, under the show description.
I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Threads, you name it, I'm on it.
Yeah.
So think people can send me questions and stuff. But I'm not doing any pet readings. Please read my books so you can learn.
There you go.
For yourself.
So no readings. Got you. We got you. Everybody, let's make this clear. No readings. But yeah, I will link all your stuff when I do the description for the show and everything. What I normally try to do, Rob, is I try to get them on either later this evening or first thing in the morning. Sometimes I think the latest I've ever been is a Wednesday morning, but usually within a 24-hour period, I have the show on with our stuff and everything where we're at. We're on everything except iTunes. We're still having some issues with iTunes. I don't know why, but we are. But we're everywhere else. So we are out there, and yeah, I will definitely get all your links in with the description. And I appreciate you being here today. Me and Danielle both do, right?
Well, yes, of course. Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
It's been really great talking with you.
It's been a great show.
Learning so much.
Well, thank you. yeah, feel free to ask any questions afterward, and I'll be happy to do what I can.
All right. Thank you so much,
All right.
Rob.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, everybody, that was Rob Gutro, and he is a psychic medium and as well as a paranormal investigator. He got some great books out there. We will link all those very soon as I get out of the description and the show up later this evening or first thing in the morning, like I told him. Danielle, before I close out, I just want to say thank you for being on again today and some great questions. You did a great job today. Really appreciate you being on the show. I always love it when I have my co-host here.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah. All right.
Until next week, goodbye.
Yeah, all right. I'll finish out the closeout, and I'll give you a call here in just a minute. All right. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, that was, of course, Rob Gutro was the guest today, and of course that was Danielle Long from San Diego, California, my wonderful co-host that so many of you have really liked since she came on, and especially since she did the. I want to thank you. Also, I hadn't mentioned this. I want to thank this to the people who do follow and everything. I noticed that Danielle's interview of me recently had some of the higher views. He was up there with Sonova Cantrell's likes and stuff, and. So I really appreciate that. That shows me that you really do like the co-host, and I really appreciate the fact that you like my co-host. Thank you so much for liking her. And also, speaking of like, be sure to like us on the 13th Destiny Podcast Facebook page. Like us on the Magnum 1968 YouTube channel where the show is going currently. We have talked about moving that, but I've noticed that the likes have went up and stuff, so we may or may not move that to a different location. And anywhere the 13th Destiny is heard, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And if you want to be a guest on the show, you can contact us at the 13th Destiny Podcast at gmail.com, or you can just send us a hello, or you can, and I am still working on some stuff where you can do donations for the show and stuff like that, because we are going to need some additional help. It's been amazing that we've done 4 years, and especially since Danielle's been on, and we went to almost to a weekly show. So thank you so much. Thank you again, and God bless you all here on the 13th Destiny with Magnum, and of course my co-host Danielle Long. Goodbye.